Thank you once again for taking an interest in your local governance and politics. Today we'll go through the BSD Board of Trustee agenda for tonight's meeting. As always, I've gone ahead and sort of highlighted or taken a look at some things that may be of interest. So without further ado, we have a report of senior administration, which contributes to the over 100 pages of agenda tonight. Some business arising will be coming from a previous presentation from the Parent Teachers Association. So usually in my experience, the trustees don't give too controversial a response to previous delegations, but we'll see what they have to say because this budget for 2026, 2027 will likely be difficult. So there's that. More on the agenda, that's mostly boilerplate. Motions aren't too interesting. Again, budget deliberations are coming up. Skip over the minutes and we'll go to the report of senior admin. Again, a lot of things not too controversial or requiring action or specific interest, so I'm skipping over an awful lot of it. There is a registration summary for the 26-27 French immersion, so there's some details on the selection process, registration process, schools, etc. There is a update to the student code of conduct procedure or policy. They call it a just code of conduct procedure here. That is also seen later. I'll quickly point something out on it later. Nothing too interesting though. And then presentations. So there's a lot to do with literacy and potentially some other areas that I'm just missing out on, but a large portion of the administrative portion of tonight's meeting is going to be literacy programming presentations. There's a few appendixes that follow through from there. So not mistaken, yes, Appendix D is the Student Code of Conduct procedure change. The only thing I'm really going to point out is this is the amended policy, but it's just the entire policy. There's no track changes version, so we can't know exactly what changed. With ease, we would have to pull up the previous version of the procedure, bring up this new procedure version, and bring them side by side to really get a good gist of what exactly changed. Unless that's spoken to more this evening. Skip ahead to the next appendix, and I am not going to go in detail on the next however many pages this is, 70-ish pages, but there's a lot to do with descriptions of existing literacy supports. That's a whole item of its own. Then there's a pilot project, I'm assuming based on some of the detail that's in this, even though I'm not well informed as to this pilot project itself, that this is a pilot project which is either completed or is in progress and just reporting on its status. I don't know when this project would have started if I got that assumption right, but there's a lot of detail in the presentation which surely will be spoken to more this evening, and there's some just kind of a gist as to what it is, and then they have some quantitative data as to a control group, an experimental group, and what were the trends in both of those groups. So skipping over all that, because again, to try and analyze that would be outside the scope of my abilities. And there's also some qualitative data as well, so feedback from individual students. Then we go to Appendix C, which is more literacy continuation. So this lit lift intervention proposal seems like it's something administration wants to do. Again, I took a quick skim. I didn't see anything obvious in terms of any cost that this may incur, and that is always an important question when you're approaching budget season is any proposals or things the administration may want to do has to be balanced against what is the fiscal reality of the BSD. So I didn't see it in there, not saying it isn't, I just didn't see it. And this is mostly just the typed up version of the proposal, and then there's a slide deck immediately after it, which I imagine covers much of the same information. Then Appendix D1 also caught my eye, where we have this agile instructional model, and I've kind of highlighted the key points here. Expertise of retired educators and balancing fiscal challenges facing the division, avoiding full-time positions, personnel structure would be successfully retired teachers or administrators, quarter of a full-time employee where each person, specialist as they call it, hired for about 48 to 50 days a year, and it's an on-demand deployment, not something that would be, from my understanding, a regularly scheduled day-to-day thing. It would just be on demand, as they say it. So yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot else for me to say there. And then there's yet another appendix on Manitoba curriculum updates. I don't imagine that one will have too much to say on it, but we'll find out. Then finally, we have the usual committee minutes coming out of the previous meetings in camera portion of the meeting. So again, a lot of this not too controversial that I saw. Only a couple things that may be of interest is there was stakeholder feedback from parent councils regarding the 2026-2027 budget. An update on the new school, though we don't know what the update specifically entailed. And then under personnel and policy, we have a update on the consumer price index, which again, budget season almost certainly preempts information that will be important to discussing uh, things that have to be indexed to some kind of inflation. That's about all I saw out of the agenda. There's plenty there to review and to dive more into, but best way to get more informed on all these details is to either watch or attend tonight's public meeting. And with that, I'm not sure if I'll be at the meeting, but if I am, I'll see you at the meeting.